there, welcome to Songwriter Creatives. I'm your host, Mike Hill, and here we talk about songwriting. In a previous episode, I spoke about dealing with writer's block and looking at the innermost thoughts of a songwriter. I gave some examples of how I deal with songwriting and what the process is with me. Obviously, in many artists, they will differ. But the general idea is to open one's mind up to creating a song that is authentic, being able to express one's emotions, and being able to find that the words or create the hit that excites the audience. We all strive to write songs that will be exciting for us and will hopefully create the same sort of emotion with our audience. In this episode, I'm going to be talking about developing the song and how we go through the process of developing the song. Now that we've dealt with writer's block, we're able to put the words down. We know how to open our minds and open our souls. So let's go through the process now of developing the song. So when we talk about developing your song, what are we talking about here? We're talking about understanding the purpose of the song. Why do we write it? Who are we writing it for? And what are we trying to say? So think of it as a storyboard. We have a purpose and we want to say something. We want to say something to a loved one, an enemy, a friend, a community, depending on the purpose of the song. And we have an expression of our thoughts that we want to put down on a piece of paper or on a computer. And that expression follows a route. Typically, a storyboard works nicely because you can then put your ideas down on a piece of paper and plot the course of the song. And that's when we start getting into structures of the chorus and the verses and the pre-chorus and so on, and we start building things like repetition. So this is the idea that we have when it comes to building your song. If we talk about the purpose of the song, I want to give you an example of a song that I wrote which has a particular purpose. The purpose of the song was to express frustration, anger at a situation, which is something that I had expressed going through a certain time in my life, and I felt I needed to put it down. So let's listen to the song. This song is called It Feels Like I'm in Hell. I'm going to give you a certain cut of the song, and you're more than welcome to go and listen to it on YouTube. I'll put the link in the comments so that you can listen to it in more detail.
I'll be knocked down, dragged around, kicked to the ground, shown out of town, being right at the bottom of nowhere. Seeing the walls closing in, I begged for mercy, looked through the darkness to find the light, but I see nothing. Through the raging flames, I'm trapped in this fiery cell. Don't know where to go, 'cause I'm in hell.
So as you can tell from the lyrics of this song, there's an immense amount of frustration. Don't know where to go because I'm in hell. Not literally. I think a lot of times people tend to take songs very literally. They're not always literally done. One can have songs that are literal. But a lot of times, which is a great way to write songs, is that you express your emotions in a way where you say something that sounds familiar, but in a different way. So this song is an expression of a time where you make a lot of mistakes, you're confronted with a lot of um, setbacks, struggles, and so on, and you just don't see an end to it. And a lot of people go through that. They write songs that about struggle, and quite often there are good songs that are written through adverse situations, and that's just an example of one. In 1983, U2, which was globally accepted as one of the greatest bands of all time, certainly in my opinion, an Irish band, they released a song called Sunday Bloody Sunday. Now, the purpose of that song was a plea to end violence on a global scale. Yes, it was written in Ireland, or it was written by an Irish band, and it focused probably on the the issues in Northern Ireland. But the words would evoke the listener to feel the power of wanting to end violence. Another song where we talk about the purpose is a song that a great example is a song called Imagine that was written by John Lennon. If we think about the lyrics of that song, here we talk about um, wanting to get the audience to buy into a better world, or the listener to buy into a better world. And it invites the people to show a spiritual unity and abandon divisions of religion and nationality. So here, John Lennon reflects through his song the desire for peace and a place where everybody would live in unity and without division. So, those are just a couple of examples of the purpose of a song. So, when you think about the purpose of your song, you can think of a couple of purposes. Just broadly, there are some examples. You want to laugh, you want to make people laugh, you want to make people cry. An example someone gave was fornicate, love, hate, joy. Those are the sort of purposes that people would have when it comes to writing lyrics. The way I create a lot of my songs, which um, are really an expression of the time at which I am in my life. Um, Generally, the song that is written is based on that emotion, based on that situation, as I've mentioned before. And that seems to be the case with a lot of artists. You do get artists that have become so accustomed to just churning out good songs, top hits, that they write based on other situations, based on other requirements, based on other requests, and so on. So it could be a communication of some sort, could be an anthem. So they would write based on that requirement. I remember I wrote a song called Ride for Life. It was a song um, that was requested of me by a very good friend who said he had a good friend who had committed suicide, and he wanted to have a song written in his memory, and we did a whole thing about um, getting together, traveling, and releasing the song, and all the friends who were on motorbikes would come together, and as an expression of the memory of this friend and so many others who suffered from depression and committed suicide. So I wrote that song, Ride for Life, um, which was not an expression of my emotion, but an expression of an emotion or a situation. Okay, so the purpose of the song, therefore, was to create awareness for uh, people suffering from depression. It is important that when you develop your song, you think of the listener, but also that you are excited about the song. If you're not excited about a song, then the chances are the listener will probably not be as excited. So it's important to be write something that excites you, feel makes you feel emotional, gets you to buy into the feeling of the song. But it's also important to get to the point as quickly as possible. Long songs typically tend to drag along, and lose the listener and lose the feel and lose the emotion. So you find quite often that there are songs where there's a short verse, quickly get into the pre-chorus or the bridge, and then get into the chorus as quickly as possible. Another part is that when you create the song or when you develop the song, you have generally three types of melodic forms. The first type of melodic form is your static form. That is where you sort of move from, let's say, an E minor to a G, and you come back to the E minor, and you move between those, that sort of almost a monotone type of sound. Okay, it's not monotonous, but it's working within a smaller range. Generally, that happens in your verse. Then you've got the next one where you use a scale. There's a melodic contour, so there's the sort of scaling up and down. Um, and I will talk in more detail in other podcasts where we explore some songs such as Bohemian Rhapsody, where some of these contours are used more emphatically. And then when you get to the chorus, typically, or as an example, they use what they call a disjunct or a spiked contour. That is where you jump from the one scale to another. So you spike your scale. You go from an one octave up, if you will. Um, if you listen to a number of songs and you very distinctly pick up where the chorus is and where the verse is, or the verse and the build up in the bridge or the pre-chorus, and then there's a quick spike into the chorus, because that is where it's supposed to grab you. That is where the message comes across. So pay attention to that when you write your songs. um, I've heard a number of songs in the past where the song starts with the chorus and then it goes into a verse and then it moves into a bridge and then it bangs you straight into another chorus. Okay, the the feeling of the song should not be lost, or the listener should not be lost in the song as to where is the chorus or where is the verse, and what is the artist trying to tell me. Often artists leave the lyrics open to interpretation for the listener. So a certain situation may feel, or a song may feel, or speak to the listener in a certain way. And there's nothing wrong with that. Whereas some artists have specific purposes, like, as I've said, in some of my songs, I have a specific purpose. I write for love, I write for awareness, I write for anger, to create the emotion of a situation. And sometimes artist's right to just keep an open interpretation, but there's a purpose behind that song. So I hope I've given you some insight. Please continue to like, subscribe, and follow me. There's a lot more that we're going to talk about in terms of songwriting. And feel free to comment and share these videos with your friends and songwriters. And if you want to reach out to me for personal connections and personal contact to have any further lessons, if you want, I'm more than happy to assist. Uh, I hope you enjoy, and I hope you're inspired as much as I am. And I look forward to giving you some more information. Thank you.